Hey guys, what's up? This is Krazak here. Now, it has been a while since I've done any of these, and I must say I am thrilled to be back and doing them again. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and you know what? It's taken some time. It really has. This has been a project that I've been promising for a very long time, but just haven't had enough information or I haven't just been ready for it. It's been one of those topics that's challenged me as far as looking for answers, as far as doing research. And no, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, and yeah, at least one of you will, this has been something long in the making, and it is finally time. I promised that I would make this, and it's that time. So, you ask, what is going on here? The question that I have basically been asked is, what is the faith? What is the scriptures? Etc., etc. Is this just a placebo? Something to make us feel good, something that doesn't really function, something that doesn't really have any truth to it, any real truth, doesn't hold any water. And for the longest time, I was like, hey, you know what? I need to look around, I need to do some research. Because, I mean, I had answers, but none of them were anything that was, I guess, solid. But recently, I was in a class, and one of the things that we asked was about this. And yes, you'll have to excuse me for those of you who normally aren't into all this faith stuff and more into the philosophy, as this one will rely very heavily on faith today. Now, the thing about this is, for the faith that I believe, for Christianity, the faith is heavily reliant on the one known as Jesus Christ. Now, where do you think that this comes in, you may ask? It's like, I thought this was about scripture, not necessarily about Jesus. But hold on, there is an actual point to make. As scripture, from beginning to end, revolves around the story of creation, fall, and salvation, redemption from the wrong that we have caused. And as we believe that Jesus is the one who has redeemed us, this ties in entirely. So, with that being said, how does this tie in? You see, Christ, a lot of people know the name. A lot of people use it as a swear word. Or a lot of people kind of know, it's like, oh, there's this pop culture guy thing that people follow, and it's Jesus. But no, Jesus is a lot different. The way that we believe it is that Jesus was historically, he was a man. He was a teacher, he was someone who the Jewish religion persecuted and did not believe because he broke a lot of their traditions as far as religion goes, while he himself claims to be part of their religion. To them, I guess this would seem hypocritical. And I mean, to be honest, today it would probably seem very hypocritical as well, in many cases. But I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Because he spoke the truth. He was blameless. And basically the only reason why he died is because, really, people grew tired of him, people grew fed up with him, and the darkness in their heart, they couldn't stand him anymore. But, at the very least, most historians will acknowledge at least the man known as Jesus Christ did exist. He was born and he did die. But then comes the question, it's like, we say that Jesus is Lord in our religion. How does this tie in? How is this even possible? And you see, the thing about that is Jesus knew basically all along what was going on. And you think, it's like, okay, he claimed to be God. What does this mean? And it means either one of two things. Either he was telling the truth and he knew it, or he was lying. Let's start with the he was lying argument. The thing about that is, if he were lying, he would have to be either someone who was a fool or someone who is ignorant. Because either he did know and he was lying, in which case he was a fool, because he was put to death over the message that he said. He said that he was God and he was put to death over it. If he knew, was it really worth risking his life for a lie? And then, if he didn't know, there were absolutely plenty of people telling him otherwise. That no, this wasn't who he was, that no, this wasn't what he was supposed to be doing. So either way, he was either entirely a liar and he knew it, or he was a fool, taking an argument that he knew would have been false to the grave. Now, both of those things, if this man is still around today and not regarded as either of those, then what's going on here? And the other answer is, he was telling the truth. Which, for many of you who take a look at what I have to say, that's a hard word to hear. That he was telling the truth the whole time? You mean he really is God? The way I believe? Yes. And while no, I don't necessarily claim to understand all the implications behind that, all the technical stuff, that would be a story for another day. But, again, it does make the argument. If he was telling the truth, then the fact that Scripture, before his birth, after his death, the fact that all of it revolves around him starts to make more sense. And it becomes less about, was it a placebo? Is it something that was false? To realizing the truth behind it and figuring out, what do we do with this information? It's astonishing that it's not just about feeling good. It's not just about something that helps us get through life. But no, that because we aren't fools or liars here, that there's something else, something bigger than us going on here. And this is part of what we really strive to figure out. Now, is this a perfect answer? Probably not. But is it a strong answer? I'd say yes, because for the longest time I was thinking about this, and I just couldn't come up with what would work for it until I heard this. It's like, the argument. Was he a liar? Was he someone who is a fool? No, both of those things can be ruled out fairly easily. Historically, he is not regarded as a fool, because he is very competent. He is very competent, he is very smart. He was a teacher, often regarded as the good teacher of all things. That doesn't sound like someone who would be incompetent, would be foolish. As far as being a liar, again, is it worth dying over a lie? Something that you would have painted. Either you're very deluded, in which case that also goes to discredit the good teacher argument, or just, again, he didn't know, which, again, he had plenty of chances, plenty of people telling him, hey, this isn't the truth, this isn't what's going on. But no, this is something he took to the grave. And it's part of what makes the faith that I believe and the faith that others believe something that's so dynamic, something that's so strong, something so unique as well. If you think about it, it's crazy. A lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it you'd want to think, how in the world could this be possible? But again, we know what we believe. And we can see, hey, there's something bigger than ourselves going on here. But again, I think that does a fairly good job at least starting to answer the question. Something we can at least take a look at and say, hey, you know, it may not be perfect, but it's a good argument. Something you can chew on, something you can sit on. And more than that, something you can act on, something that with the knowledge that we have now, that we can do something with it. As far as me, I think me doing this is part of that action. Taking action with what I have, with the knowledge that I have, being able to share it with you guys is always, always a pleasure. But just, in addition, just being able to figure this out, being able to think it through, it really helps me grow too. As a person, as a content creator, as someone who honestly is going into this kind of thing as a job. It helps me to grow, it helps me to develop. And I want to thank you guys for coming along on the journey. But in all reality, I think that's pretty much it for now. I think I've said what I needed to say. So again, just wanting to thank you guys for listening, for being such an active part of this. Thank you guys. See you next time. This is Krazak, signing out. See ya.